Your electric car cannot move without it, your smartphone cannot charge without it, and one country controls nearly all of it. In late November of 2026, a temporary trade truce expires. When it does, the price of every battery on Earth could explode. And here is the part nobody is talking about. The West still has no backup plan. This is the graphite chokehold, and the clock is already ticking. Graphite is not a metal, it is a form of carbon. But without it, lithium-ion batteries simply do not work. When you charge your phone or your electric vehicle, lithium ions flow into layers of graphite inside the battery. That graphite makes up the anode. It is the single largest material by volume inside every lithium-ion cell. There is more graphite in your battery than lithium, more than nickel, more than cobalt. An average electric vehicle battery contains between 50 and 100 kilograms of the stuff. To build 1 million electric cars, the world needs roughly 75,000 tons of natural graphite. That alone is a 10% jump in total global demand. And we are supposed to build tens of millions of electric vehicles every single year. So where does all that graphite come from? Here is where the story turns dark. China produces roughly 82% of the world's mined natural graphite. But mining is only the beginning. To turn raw graphite into battery-ready material, you must crush it, purify it, and shape it into microscopic spheres. That product is called spherical graphite. Chinese firms produce approximately 99% of it. Let that sink in. 99%. China also controls over 97% of global anode-active material manufacturing capacity. That means even if you mine graphite in Canada or Mozambique, it almost certainly gets shipped to China for processing. South Korean and Japanese battery makers import their spherical graphite from Chinese joint ventures. The United States imports close to 100% of its anode material from China. There is simply nowhere else to go. So what happens when Beijing decides to slam the door? China knows exactly how much leverage it holds. In October of 2023, Beijing announced that companies would need government export permits to ship certain graphite products overseas. The rules took effect that December. Then in November of 2025, something strange happened. China issued announcement number 72. It temporarily suspended stricter end-user verification rules for graphite shipments heading to the United States. The idea was to reduce trade friction. But here is the catch. That suspension is explicitly valid only until the 27th of November, 2026. It is a countdown clock, not a peace treaty. On that date, the enhanced verification measures snap back into place. And at the exact same time, China imposed fresh export controls on artificial graphite anode materials under a separate announcement. So Beijing is easing one door while locking another. The message is clear. We own this supply chain, and we can cut it whenever we want. The United States is 100% import reliant on natural graphite, not 90%, not 99, 100. In 2025, America had an estimated 79,000 tons of natural graphite. China supplied roughly 43% of that total. For battery-grade anode material, China supplied 55% of United States imports in just the first 8 months of 2025. Washington knows this is a national security nightmare. The Trump administration announced a $12 billion strategic stockpile plan earlier this year. But stockpiles do not fix the underlying problem. You cannot build a new graphite mine in America overnight. According to the National Mining Association, it takes an average of 29 years to bring a mine online in the United States. 29 years. The November deadline is 4 months away. Making matters worse, in December of 2024, North American graphite producers petitioned the United States Department of Commerce. They accused China of dumping anode material below fair market value. In 2025, the Commerce Department responded with preliminary anti-dumping duties of 93.5%. Countervailing duties ranged from roughly 11.5% to over 721% depending on the company. So Washington is simultaneously punishing Chinese graphite imports while desperately needing them. It is a policy contradiction that only works if you have a domestic alternative. And right now, you do not. There is one project in the West that might actually matter in time. Nouveau Monde Graphite in Quebec is building the Matawini mine and a battery material plant in Bécancour. It is fully financed with roughly $644 million. When complete, it will produce 44,100 tons of active anode material per year. That would make it the largest graphite operation in the group of 7. Panasonic Energy, General Motors, and the Italian energy major Eni have all signed on. But here is the reality check. Even this flagship project cannot replace Chinese supply. It is one plant. China has dozens. And qualification periods for new anode suppliers typically take 3 to 5 years. Car makers do not just swap suppliers like changing a light bulb. Every batch must be tested for safety, performance, and longevity. So while this plan is a start, it is not a solution. Not yet. So what happens if China lets the suspension expire and tightens the screws? Battery costs rise. Electric vehicle prices rise. The energy transition slows down. And every major economy that bet its future on electric cars suddenly finds itself begging for graphite from the same country is trying to decouple from. This is not a hypothetical scenario. It is a policy deadline written in black and white, the 27th of November, 2026. Mark it, because when that clock runs out, the world either has a backup plan or it has a very expensive problem. And right now, there is no backup plan. If you loved the video, give us the sub. If not, God be with you.